Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions on a budget offering from Flytanium. These have been around for a little while and I've been curious about checking one out. So I was able to get a hold of one. Before I do, I'll just show you what's in the box. So the box comes with, there's the name Beef. So we have a sticker of Ron Swanson barbecuing. And I'm just looking here now. I don't think it says the name Beef anywhere on the box. Anyway, that's fine. There is the knife in question. I went with the slate blue heavy stone wash on the D2 blade. These are available in like a black wash, which reduces the HRC a little bit. Anyway, let me do a quick rundown on the materials and then give you my initial thoughts on this knife. So up front here, we have a very heavily stonewashed D2 blade, sort of a clip-ish point, maybe a modified clip point or modified drop point, which you use those two terms, you could describe almost any knife on planet Earth, but nonetheless, nice little thumb ramp here that does really work ergonomically, so that's welcome. Big accessible thumb studs, very nice. This is on bearings, not ceramic bearings, they are steel bearings. And then we move down to the G10 handle with the crossbar lock. The crossbar lock is pretty stiff, certainly a stiffer Omega spring than you're probably used to if you've got a bunch of Benchmades. It actually puts me a little bit in mind of the Acacia from CJRB. That's a pretty stiff Omega spring as well. And so if you're used to that, you might have something to give you a feel for the Beef. If you have, some of the tenable crossbar lock stuff, it's a little softer. All right, and of course a Benchmade. Yeah, I do have a Benchmade here. It's going to be a little softer as well than the Omega spring on the Beef here. All right, moving into the handle, it is a fully G10 handle. You can see fairly accessible screws there. Now they are T6s, and it's funny because a number of things that I might complain about, Flytanium has opted to argue with reviewers and enthusiasts about every point. So lots of people have complained about the D2 steel and the T6 hardware. And Flytanium has responded to both of those things. The D2 is fine. And essentially they made the choice for budget purposes, and D2 is a decent steel for a user. Where I question them would be perhaps, although this is a really nice looking stonewash, stonewash and D2 don't necessarily go together that well because it does invite a little bit more opportunity for corrosion. All right, now, having said all of that stuff, I will say my initial thoughts for this knife is, yeah, as a budget offering, this is pretty decent. It's fairly well done. The handle shape is very neutral, which means it's really comfortable in most grips. In certain grips, I guess really only either a reverse grip like this, I can feel the clip a little bit. Anyway, in a saber grip, in a hammer grip, it feels really good. The other big thing that's notable about this, I guess we should talk about the clip. Obviously reversible clips. This is a fully ambidextrous knife, which is great. And it's kind of nice and robust. I want to say beefy, but I'm trying to avoid that. And it is movable, and there's a bit of a cutout there on both sides. Now, having gone over the parts of this knife and kind of talked about that, I should touch on the size and weight. So 8 inches overall, 3 7/16 on the blade. So just a hair under 3.5 inches, 3 3/8 cutting edge. The grip area is pretty substantial here at 4 inches. So even if you have pretty big hands, if you wanted to go with an 8-inch knife, like a slightly smaller knife maybe than you're used to carrying, this does have a lot of grip area. So even larger hands are probably going to find this pretty comfortable. 4 9/16 is the closed dimension. Okay, so that's what you're dealing with when it's closed. It weighs in at 4.4 ounces. All right, and so it's not super lightweight, but 4.4 ounces is not anything to be the least bit concerned about for the comfort of carrying this around. All right, so my initial thoughts on this, what do I think of it? Well, there are a couple things that stand out to me. First of all, I like the color variations. I like the function over form mentality that they've taken. The blade stock could be a little thicker for a knife that's called the Beef, that's meant to be beefy, and that's why I brought the Tenable Cryo in to show you that, I mean, this knife doesn't really make any specific claims to being beefy or overbuilt or anything like that, and yet it's got thicker blade stock. All right. That's not the primary test of toughness, but it definitely is one of them. Okay. The other thing I want to say about this that I find pretty appealing is the fact that you can go to Flytanium's website and order almost every piece of this knife. So you would have the option of, once you have one of these, you could switch out the blade and the scales. You can buy all the parts you might want if something breaks. Now, they do have a really good warranty for this. So if something breaks and it's just in normal use, that's totally fine. But if you're taking it apart and lose something, or if you purposely want to change something on your knife, that's where this really shines. So it's possible that I already have a different blade coming that I plan to drop in this, and then I'll decide whether we want to go further with that or not. But there are a number of different handle scales, including titanium scales. There is an there's an S90V blade available for this, which I find pretty compelling. Bunch of different thumb stud options, as well as all of the function the pieces that you need. So if you, I don't know, need a pivot or bearings or whatever, there's also a bearing upgrade you can get. So you can get skiff bearings. Last time I looked, they were out of stock, but you could always also look up the size and order them directly from Skiff. Okay, so I think that's the big story with this knife. It's a fairly simple construction. It's a really nice user, and it's a user that allows you to have quite a bit of flexibility. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Lander, if the Lander allowed you to literally change everything. Like, you could order everything and build another knife. I think. I'm trying to remember if there's anything missing. I mean, essentially, you could change out almost everything on this knife. The only thing maybe is the backspacer, which, look, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next, in the near future, you can also get upgraded backspacers. That's always a nice option anyway. Okay, there you go, guys. Sorry about the wandering brain there for a second, but I was just uncertain about what I was telling you there, and I still am. But in terms of the factory, straight from the box thing you're going to order, I think this is a pretty nice knife. I think it would work well for, a friend or neighbor, someone who, wants a decent knife but isn't a knife enthusiast. I think this works well. Even as a knife enthusiast, I think this is a great, a user that you can also scratch that itch a little bit to have something a little more high end or a little better edge retention or something a little special and a little unique to you, a little different. All of that stuff I find very appealing, while also in a form that is just a pretty straight up user. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.